Canada's Prairie Farmers by Mary Lynn Bushhog. What are the prairies? They are the most open land as far as the eye can see. Sometimes it is flat, sometimes it is rolling hills. It is where many people came. They looked for a new life. At first, only natives lived on the prairie. Some French people moved there to hunt and trade. The English came later. The first English made cattle ranches, then more people came. They would wanted to make farms. They wanted to grow food. Making new farms was hard work. Most people had horses and oxen to help them plow. The prairie grass had thick roots. It was hard to cut through. The people built homes near trees first. They wanted the wood for building. They needed it for cooking too. When later people came, they lived where there were no trees. They built their homes with the sod. They used the sod like wide bricks. The houses was cool in the summer. It was warm in the winter. Even the roof was made with sod. The prairie ground was good for farming. When there was rain, the wheat grew tall. When there was not enough rain, people went hungry. Some years there was drought. Other years, frost or grasshoppers hurt the harvest. The life of a prairie farmer was hard. In those days, wheat was almost as tall as man. Winds could suddenly flatten patches or whole fields. Machines cannot be used to harvest it then. New kinds of wheat were found. They did not grow as tall. They did not need a long summer either. That was a big help for farmers. The government in Ottawa wanted more farmers on the prairie. They sent word to other countries. If people came to Canada, they could have free land to farm. People came from Russia, they came from the States, they came from Europe, they came from China. People came looking for land and freedom. They rode trains across Canada. Then they used wagons, boats, horses, or their own feet to go on from there. They might travel a very long way. Living on the prairie was a lonely life. Sometimes the next home was out of sight. Visitors were welcome. They brought news and new faces. Towns were often a mix of many kinds of people. There might be English, Germans, or Russians. There might be Metis and Americans all in the same small place. They learned to get along and help each other. Life was hard on the prairie. Help was hard to find. Most farmers had many children. There was not a lot of time to play. They learned to work when they were big enough to walk. The whole family worked in the fields. At night, the children got school lessons. Life was very hard for the women. They worked in the fields by day. They wove clothes and taught their children. At night, they ground their own flour to make bread. Life could sometimes be fun too. Sundays were a day of rest. Children could play games. In winter, people skated on frozen ponds. Ice hockey was a popular game. In the summer, the people enjoyed picnics, croquet, and swimming. Not everyone stayed in the West. Some farmers failed. Some people could not stand the loneliness. Those who stayed changed the prairie. They helped build Canada.